we are losing the interaction with the earth itself. Some people have an office job and live in an apartment. Unless they have a little plant on their balcony, they're never really going to touch any dirt ever. Touching dirt and everything, that's what builds up the good bacteria on your hands. That's what builds up the immune system. People tend to feel better after they're touching dirt. Why do you think kids want to go play in the dirt and mud? Because instinctually, they probably don't know that, but a part of them actually does know that. So, it's good. It's good for a lot of things. It's good for the mental health, but really the physical health is really, really important. You want to be touching dirt. It's super important. And again, they demonize it to sound like, oh, it's dirt, it's dirty. You soiled yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Your grandparents were always in the dirt. They were planting, even if it's just a small tomato plant or whatever, that's good. So again, a lot of the foods that we're eating are not grown in good soils, and the soil is also sprayed with chemicals and stuff like that. So everyone's kind of walking around mineral deficient, and that's kind of where a lot of these drugs come in. The drugs are kind of trying to compensate for various mineral deficiencies that people have. Like, again, I'll talk about magnesium one more time. So if magnesium helps, if you're really, really deficient on magnesium, like your heart doesn't beat the right way. Your muscles, you get a little bit shaky in your hands. Your muscles don't work right. You psychologically don't feel as calm and relaxed. Your blood doesn't flow the right way. That's just one mineral. That's just one of those. If you don't have enough like selenium, your immune system can't function the right way. Like I was low on selenium when I did, my test thing. Sulfur is crazy important. Sulfur is the third most used thing in your body. And I'm going to talk about benefits of sulfur. And the sulfur cycle. This looks like a good one here. Ooh, this is old school shit. I like this.
Sulfur is an incredible and terribly important mineral that somehow is being completely forgotten. There's no RDA, there's no recommended intake of sulfur. And yet,
that's another thing too. The RDAs that they do are retarded. Vitamin C, they're like, oh, you only need 120 milligrams of vitamin C. You could have like 10x that, no problem. And when you're sick, the body actually will require that. But they tell you, so they love to do that stuff. So who is that set by the government? And the government wants to sell you things. That's why like the Kellogg family was like, oh, they put grains at the bottom of the pyramid and stuff like that. So Big Sugar wants to push its thing and stuff like that. So those are always in play. But that's what I'm saying. If you get things directly from the earth, it kind of cuts out the middleman of them saying you can't have this or this is the right amount and everything. It's like the God-given amount.
We depend on sulfur and also what are called sulfur-containing amino acids. The body is built out of amino acids. And the sulfur-containing amino acids are found very strongly in eggs and onions and garlic.
It's in a lot of white things that are white. I think he'll go on about that more, but sulfur is kind of like white. It's in things that are white like that.
Which also have a little bit of that sulfurous smell. In the old days, people used to go...
Sulfur smell is kind of bad.
...to sulfur springs, where the water was high in sulfur to heal their ailments, particularly their aching joints or eczematic skin. And there is a form of sulfur called MSM.
It's going to say MSM. So MSM came from the horse world, believe it or not. I've it's a form of sulfur. I forget what the M's are for right now. But MSM comes actually from the horse world, and it's really powerful for joints and everything. And kind of can help pull things from the body in the sulfur cycle. So it's like it's almost like a detoxifier, like the zeolite stuff that I keep telling you guys about. And most people pair it with high dose vitamin C. So they call it like MSM plus C, because it's working on like tissue, joints, and everything like that.
Which is very, very absorbable. And supplementing sulfur is often excellent if you do have conditions like eczema, skin problems, but also any inflammatory problem. So it tends to reduce the severity of allergic type reactions. If you have arthritis, eczema, asthma, other inflammatory problems, MSM as a supplement of sulfur really does help. But I'm a fan of eating onions and garlic and eggs. And I think part of the benefit is you're actually getting this vital but forgotten nutrient, and that is sulfur.
Nice. I like this guy. So, let me see, maybe find a little bit more on sulfur. So sulfur. So another way you can get sulfur is you can go walk around barefoot. So we're going to also be talking about that, walking around barefoot, grounding, going in the forest, swimming. All those things ground the body, and that helps boost the body's natural healing abilities as well, without you really doing anything. And part of why do they say you want to walk around barefoot? Because you're usually walking in the dirt. That's good for you. Again, the dirt is healing. And let's actually see. So this guy, Dr. Joseph Mercola, is awesome. He has a really good book called EMF'd. A lot of things. He has a whole entire book that I've actually read on vitamin C. The different types of vitamin C, why they lie to you about vitamin C, intravenous vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C, what happens if you take a lot of vitamin C, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to try a few random spots here and see what he says. And by the way, that doctor is like banned from some things too.
Invasive animal microbe. And so the cell of the microbe is these lipopolysaccharides. These are complex sugars. And it's likely that the human doesn't actually have enzymes to break down all the different complicated sugars of all the different species that might come its way. So it needs to have a non-enzymatic method to break down that cell wall. And I think the non-enzymatic method that it uses is ferrous sulfate to break down the sugars in the walls of these invasive species.
And our body has its own supply of ferrous sulfate? Because typically, if one is low in iron, that is considered an inorganic form of supplementation, relatively poor one, because it's potentially.
When it comes to iron, eat from a cast. So if you have, if you go in your kitchen right now and you have Teflon pots and pans and stuff, throw it away. It's poison. Either get stainless steel or cast iron. When you eat from cast iron, it gives you a little bit more iron. It tastes good. They last a long time. You don't even have to clean it as much. So in my mind, it's superior.